Hi everyone, Marla Miller from marlamiller.com presenting our 139th Quick Query Critique. Before I get to this, because this author has been waiting for 2 months, so I'd like to give him some feedback. But before I do that, I'm trying to give an ebook away on Kindle via Kindle Select. It's my first ebook, and for those of you who have ever attended a writer's conference or would like to, it kind of waxes on about the benefits of being at a writer's conference. At several different levels. It's a short piece of fiction taken from a longer work that in this section profiled the Santa Barbara Writers Conference. And since we lost our founder, Barney Conrad, I devoted it to him. So anyway, I'm trying to give it away to all of you, and I'm having a little trouble on Kindle, but I'll figure it out. All right, let's get to this 139th Quick Query Critique. Dear Blank, the weekend before my 16th birthday, I desperately decided it would be a great idea to kill myself by taking 140 Tylenol PM. I Am Suicide tells my survival story from a teenager's perspective and how 2 years of institutionalization in lockdown psychiatric facilities, an army of therapists, antidepressants up the wazoo, and a bazillion hours of therapeutic interventions taught me to value life and the importance of never giving up. I Am Suicide is my brutally honest memoir about teenage suicide that tells an emotional comeback story by showing how I went from suicide to success. Set in San Francisco and then Utah in 2001, my memoir begins with the last 24 hours before the attempt, where I spend the night with my suicidal friend and the following day with my unsuspecting family. During these encounters, I explore the causes of my depression through flashbacks involving parental divorce, peer betrayal, social confusion, and rejection. After being sent away to Utah, I conquer my depression through therapeutic sessions and exercises by coming to terms with my demons and exploring my personal psychology. The memoir ends with my completed transformation into a self-confident psychological warrior graduating from the program ready to take on the world. My bachelor in psychology and master in IT and cognition had given me supplemental knowledge with understanding depression and self-reflection, which I use as important tools to help the reader explore my psychological metamorphosis. I'm very well connected with psychologists and treatment facilities all over the states, have attended adolescent treatment conferences in LA where I spoke to desperate parents in need of help, have motivationally spoken at treatment facilities to adolescents about my success, and am passionately dedicated to continue helping out in the suicide game. It is therefore why I'm very excited to send you my proposal for I Am Suicide, or the completed 170-word manuscript. Thank you for your consideration, and I look forward to hearing from you at your earliest convenience. Okay. I just saw something else that I wanted to, so I want to make sure that I circle that. Okay, so what do I think of I Am Suicide? It's a memoir, and it is loaded with stuff, isn't it? Okay. First of all, let me say that I did my master's thesis on teen suicide. So while it was a couple decades ago, I will tell you that the rate of suicide among this age group has not budged in inch. It's like number one. They're the ones who kill themselves first. So this is a very timely, this is a good book. This is what I would call an evergreen book because unfortunately we're not denting those rates at all, and we all know way too many young people who have attempted or successfully killed themselves. So I like the concept of this very much. I like the fact that this goes from victim to survivor. So lots of good things here about this memoir. Couple of things. This author mentions, well, first let me start here. In the first paragraph, I think the opening sentence here is the last sentence. I Am Suicide is my brutally honest memoir about teenage suicide that tells an emotional comeback story by showing how I went from suicide to success. That's how he should open this query letter. That's a good sentence. That sets us up nicely. Okay. A couple of other things. In the second paragraph, he talks about how he conquered his depression through therapeutic sessions and exercises by coming to terms with my demons, etc. And says that this is part of this because he explores this in I Am Suicide. So that sounds a little bit self-helpy to me. So I'm not sure we memoir, we self-help. That's one point that I want to make, and keep that in mind as I continue. The last sentence in the second paragraph, and again I post these on my website, MarlaMiller.com, in case you're listening to this at YouTube. Psychological warrior, I love that so much. That's a phrase in the last sentence of the second paragraph that I really think that this should be part of the title. I am suicide. I get that this author is going for effect, and that has an effect, but psychological warrior also is, I think telegraphs very nicely. So if he could put together suicide, I am suicide, or surviving suicide, and psychological warrior, I just think that that's a really good message about what this book is going to be about, instead of I am suicide. I'm not quite sure what that means, but if I'm a psychological warrior, then and suicide is connected, then do you see what I mean? So now we're in the title, without looking, without opening the book, we have some idea of what this book might be about. So if that interests us, what are we going to do? We're going to pick it up and open it. Okay, so I would encourage him to do that. Also, in the last paragraph, he says that he goes around and he speaks. This is such a TED Talk to me. So if this author isn't pursuing that avenue in terms of public speaking, I would really encourage him to do that. I'm sure that there have been teens or people, young people who have talked about suicide and delivered a TED Talk, but I think this has TED Talk written all over it. Don't ask me how to get there, but that would look very nice in this author platform, wouldn't it? To say that among the many groups that he has addressed, one of them is a TED Talk, and then of course you put the video right there. Okay, but I'm getting into the marketing end, and I want to stay focused on this query letter. Okay, so I like it. I like the idea of it. My concern is really overall the length. 170,000 words for a memoir. I mean, that is like 100,000 words too much, truly, in my opinion. Unless you are someone who is just, I can't even think. I mean, memoirs are short, and they should be short, because it is an inciting incident that really transformed or changed your whole life. And so the rest of that tale is told around that inciting incident, which would be this suicide attempt at the age of 16. But boy, 170,000 words, that's a lot of story. So if I were an agent and I saw this, that it was 170,000 words, the first thing that would come to my mind, and I'm just telling it straight, is that this is an inexperienced writer. Because an experienced writer would not do a 170,000 word manuscript for a memoir, I don't believe. Unless this is a memoir / self-help book. So if there's all kinds of exercises in here and all kinds of, references to suicidology and how to evaluate your suicide potential, all those things that we see online and have seen in magazines, then I guess that would explain the length, but I would really make sure that this book also, this query letter also said that it was a memoir / self-help. Personally, I would write this from the perspective of a survivor of teenage suicide, and I would let all the psychologists and everybody else, suicidologists, offer what they do, and because I think this has potential. I definitely think that it has potential, and beyond that, I'm not going to say too much more. I hope that this has been helpful to this author who has been writing. Until the next time, be well, keep writing.